How long does it take to drive a sane person insane? This movie tells you, just 1 week. Renowned psychologist Professor Philip once conducted an experiment. He locked a group of people in a simulated prison, offering a substantial reward for those who could endure 14 days. Participants thought it would be easy, but none lasted a week. The experiment, which lasted only 6 days, turned a group of normal individuals into animals. The film I'm sharing today is based on true events. Unemployed Travis sees a tempting opportunity in the newspaper: endure 2 weeks in a prison simulation and earn $1,000 a day. He volunteers for this experiment. After several selections, he and others arrive at a simulated prison. The participants are divided into 2 groups, 8 as guards, 20 as prisoners. The rules are simple. First, prisoners must finish 3 meals a day and have 30 minutes of free time. Second, they can only move within designated areas and speak when spoken to. Third, under no circumstances can a prisoner touch a guard. If anyone breaks the rules, they must be punished. If no one is punished, a red light will turn on within 30 minutes, ending the experiment with no one earning a penny. Also, no violence is allowed, or the experiment ends immediately. After the rules are announced, the guards receive batons, symbols of power. For the next 14 days, they will manage the prisoners, monitored by the ever-present red light and surveillance cameras, like an invisible net constantly watching over them. On the first day of the experiment, the participants were casual, treating it like a role-playing game. Guard Chase announced the prison rules, but no one took him seriously as a guard.
Gotta be honest, you guys are the most suck-ass guards I ever seen.
However, things quickly changed. During free time, a prisoner accidentally hit guard Bosch in the face with a basketball, injuring him. Bosch was initially unbothered, but Chase saw it as a provocation by the inmates. But it was an accident. You might think that, but the people by the red light might not. The rules were clear: any violation must be punished, or the red light would turn on within 30 minutes, ending the experiment. Despite everyone viewing it as an accident, no one wanted to risk everyone's money. So, they decided to give the prisoner a minor punishment: 10 push-ups. The prisoner was unhappy, arguing it was an accident. Realizing his authority was challenged, Chase shouted an order for all prisoners to be punished. One, concerned about the prize money, complied, but others resisted. The compliant ones started cursing them: "Stop fussing, just do the 10 push-ups." Seeing the division among themselves, the prisoners reluctantly began their punishment. Watching the prisoners obey, the introverted and timid Barris felt a mix of emotions. Meanwhile, Chase, having enforced the punishment, leisurely drank a beer, relishing the feeling of power. After 30 minutes, the red light didn't turn on, thrilling Chase, who felt his actions were endorsed by those monitoring the experiment. On the second day of the experiment, the prison served them a seemingly unappetizing sauce, a thick, dark-colored food that looked disgusting. Some prisoners chose not to eat it, but the guards told them they must finish all their meals as per the rules. Travis protested, saying he just didn't want to eat something that looked like dog shit. After a heated argument, the tension escalated. Nix deliberately dropped his plate, claiming he wanted to eat but accidentally dropped it. Chase, seeing this, shouted,
"Nobody's leaving here until their plates are clean."
Travis disregarded him and dumped the remaining food onto a guard's hand.
You guys some more push-ups.
Give you push-ups? Push this up.
A brawl seemed imminent, and the guards fled in disarray. The prisoners' actions made the guards worry that the experiment might end if they didn't take action. At this point, Barris suggested a solution: since violence was prohibited by the rules, they could use humiliation as a form of punishment. They sprayed the prisoners with fire extinguishers, startling them all. They stripped Travis naked and handcuffed him separately. The prisoners were still recovering from the shock when Barris announced,
"There will be no more incidents like there was today."
In this process, Barris experienced an unprecedented sense of power, tasting authority for the first time. On the third day of the experiment, Barris gathered everyone to reiterate the rules and discipline of the prison. He noticed that prisoner number 51 was absent, so he immediately went to the cell and found him lying in bed, unable to get up. Benji was suffering from diabetes and needed insulin, but according to the rules, no outside items were allowed in the cells. Chase commented that his grandmother also had a similar condition, and it didn't have any effect other than occasional lethargy. Thus, they forcibly removed Benji from his cell. Travis tried to intercede on his behalf, but Barris refused, insisting that prisoners could only speak when asked by a guard. A dispute ensued, and Barris almost used his baton but was restrained by other guards. This conflict intensified the animosity between the two groups. With too many prisoners to manage, Barris was left feeling resentful. After some deliberation, they realized that Travis seemed to be the leader of the prisoners, often involved in troublemaking. To establish their authority, they decided to make an example of him. In the middle of the night, they dragged Travis to the bathroom, tied him to a chair, and shaved his head to humiliate and subdue him.
Do we have the proper respect for authority now? Fuck you.
An angry Barris kicked him over and urinated on him. Returning to his cell, Travis desperately washed himself but ultimately chose to endure. The guards realized they could use violence in unmonitored areas without breaking the rules and became increasingly unrestrained. Only Bosch thought they were going too far.
Happens like that again, I'm out of here.
Barris scoffed at this. You think you can just leave? Everyone's money is tied up in this, do you think you can just decide that? On the fourth day, Benji's condition worsened. Travis secretly brought him some food, but it was of no use. During the night check, Travis pleaded with Bosch for insulin, offering him $1,000. Bosch refused the money and went to the storage room, but his actions were soon discovered. Barris personally delivered the insulin to Benji, then smirked at Travis. We'll have to have another talk later. Travis was again taken to the bathroom. Barris shaved his own head and told Travis that he had broken the rules again and must be punished. He ordered Travis to clean the toilet. Travis resisted, arguing that without insulin, Benji would die. Barris countered that if there was any real danger, the surveillance team would intervene, questioning if Travis thought he knew better than them. Travis angrily condemned Barris's twisted behavior, which only led to more violence. Barris pressed Travis's head into the toilet, forcing him to admit he was just a prisoner. Under pressure, Travis finally submitted. Barris experienced an unprecedented thrill in this power game. After dealing with Travis, Barris had one more task, a purge. They took Bosch to a blind spot in the surveillance and beat him. On the fifth day, Barris gathered all the prisoners and announced that Bosch would no longer be a guard but a prisoner. This decision caused a strong reaction among the prisoners. Travis protested by throwing his clothes on the ground. Barris ordered him to put them back on. An angry Travis climbed the wire mesh and shouted at the cameras, questioning why no one stopped the abuse. He was quickly pulled down, and Barris choked him with a baton. Benji rushed to help and was hit in the head with the baton. Injured, Benji fell and convulsed. Fearing a prisoner uprising, Barris ordered the prisoners to be separated. Travis was locked in a pipe. Despite some guards thinking Barris had gone too far, he insisted their actions were within the rules, as the red light had not come on. After these events, Barris seemed exhilarated, playing music and basking in his perceived victory. Travis, in the pipe, found a hidden camera and realized everything. The prison was filled with hidden cameras, and the experiment initiators had seen all the guards' actions but hadn't stopped them by lighting the red light as they should have. Their inaction encouraged the guards' misdeeds, gradually bringing out the worst in human nature. After a struggle, Travis used his bracelet to pry open the pipe and rescued Nix, who was being humiliated by Chase. Together, they beat Chase until he was unconscious. Then they freed other inmates who had been isolated, reaching their limit with the guards' actions and deciding to fight back. Returning to their cells, they found Benji dead on the floor, having succumbed to lack of necessary medical assistance. This news exploded among the prisoners like a bomb, igniting their fury. They began attacking the guards' office, and the situation quickly spiraled out of control. Despite Barris trying to maintain his authority, claiming they were the controllers of the prison, the angry inmates soon breached the office door. A massive fight ensued, with Barris and the other guards being beaten by the inmates, pushing the situation to the brink of chaos and violence. Just as things were about to turn deadly, the red light finally lit up, and the prison doors slowly opened, with the sunlight glaring in. Everyone walked towards the outside world, coming to their senses from their roles in the prison. All participants were arranged to go home on a bus, falling into deep thought amidst the sudden calm. Despite each receiving a compensation of $14,000, none felt consoled. In this experiment, participants were divided into guards and prisoners. The guards, carefully selected, faced the challenge of establishing and maintaining authority after gaining power. However, the establishment of authority requires the recognition and support of those being managed. In the early stages of the experiment, due to general indifference to the rules and the authority of the guards, they quickly felt embarrassed and challenged, lacking the recognition and support of other participants. To control the participants, the experiment designed a punishment system. However, punishment alone was insufficient to ensure obedience, so money was introduced as a stronger motivator. The rule that everyone would lose their bonus if anyone violated the rules forced everyone to choose endurance and obedience for financial gain. Barris, originally timid, became extremely sensitive to his own authority after tasting power. His behavior reflected a common trait among many managers: extreme sensitivity to challenges to authority. He began to control the prisoners more strictly, especially influential ones like Travis and Bosch. However, limited by their power and inability to use violence, the guards' management became difficult. If the situation had been different, if they had real guns and more methods of punishment, the 14 days might have passed peacefully. But such a scenario would also make participation in the experiment more dangerous and unpredictable. As authority continued to be challenged, Barris' desire for control intensified. His behavior became increasingly extreme, ultimately morphing into a villain. The experiment provided deep insights into human behavior and psychological responses in extreme environments, revealing the corruptive nature of power and the fragility of human nature. It showed that even the most ordinary people can exhibit unexpected behaviors under extreme pressure, offering a deep understanding of power, morality, and the essence of human nature. Alright, if you're interested in this experiment, you can watch the full movie, The Experiment. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.